The Long Game, where PR meets relationship marketing. Real talk, real leaders, and real results. We're cutting through the noise to show how credibility, connection, and consistency builds brands that endure. So whether you're an overwhelmed digital marketer, a business owner trying to stand out, or a thought leader ready to just level up, welcome to The Long Game. Because building something that lasts takes heart. So let's welcome your host, Jeremy Knopf and Jessica Suter. Let's go. Yay, our first episode of 2026. Welcome back to The Long Game. And today we are starting off strong. Hope you guys all had a great new year and ready to dive into what works for the long game. Today, we are bringing in one of the world-class leaders in talking about video, specifically YouTube video content, and what is working to make you stand out as the king or queen in your niche. But the one and only Jeremy Vest is joining us to the stage here, and he's going to share what is working on YouTube, whether it's thumbnails, SEO, all the things. He is a wealth of knowledge, so super excited to have him on. As you have questions, please drop them in the comments, but welcome, Jeremy.
Thanks for having me both. Appreciate it.
It's awesome to have you on. This is, I think, the one I'm most excited about because I've been digging heavy into YouTube lately. So I'm looking forward to seeing what we're going to hear from you today, Jeremy.
Very cool. Hopefully I don't disappoint.
Never.
At the end, we're going to have to reenact the Highlander. We're going to break out some swords because there can only be one.
Obviously.
Well, Jeremy, as we are now in 2026, what are the biggest misconceptions that people think about YouTube and what's working today versus what worked before?
So this is my 19th year coming in as a YouTube strategist. I'm getting old. And for businesses, it's literally been the same thing for 19 years. And that is, in general, businesses are not creating content for the viewer, they're creating it for themselves. And if you are creating content for yourself, there's no reason to create content because it's all about your potential audience. Now, the biggest change of these 19 years happened last year, and it is a monumental shift in YouTube and honestly other platforms, but specifically YouTube. And that is, for the first time ever, televisions drive the most watch time on YouTube, not smartphones, not computers, not desktops. And that is an unbelievably huge change. And the reason is people are leaning back and wanting to experience like a TV show or a game show. They're not necessarily always typing how to fix a leaky toilet in 2026 anymore, because what has replaced the how-tos? That is AI.
Mm-hmm. Very episodic type content. Yeah. And I know you've even shared just like how to then upload that content with the right thumbnail, with the person showing, like especially if you're doing like a software type tutorial, still show the human face in it. And still have, would you say, like 5 words, I think, in the
up to 12 characters, actually. Okay. We've done a lot of studies, and we found that text doesn't typically help a thumbnail, because if a picture's worth 1,000 words, how many words can you stick into it? So the real concept would be to visually give someone a reason to click, give curiosity gap, evoke emotion, and tell a visual story. Words just don't work that well on thumbnails, even though people think they do.
Interesting. All right. Jeremy, I'll throw something out here for you. This, I think, especially for the people who are just getting started with YouTube and they don't already have an established audience, the videos they have aren't really getting many views, so they don't know what to look for. What is kind of that ramp up period, right? Obviously, when you start putting out content, you're not going to get a lot of views. You're not going to show up in the feed or in search. So what should people expect when they're getting started? in terms of how long it takes to start getting traction if they're doing it right?
So that's a loaded question.
They always are.
I will say this: the best way to win on YouTube is to do one thing and one thing like you would do it. So when I was a kid, my parents would say, don't go to college to become an underwater basket weaver. And I don't know if that's like a saying or if I'm just that old these days. But now on YouTube, you want to be the underwater basket weaver. You want to be a specific person to a specific group of people that is answering or helping a specific problem. And when the reason on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook is they are serving content, especially video content, based on watch history, based on what you're into, topical categories. So if you go to the homepage of YouTube and you're logged in, you will see these little gray boxes at the top, and they're going to show you the topics that you're into. Like for me, I'm into motorcycles and fishing and all other men type stuff because that's what I do. So it's going to serve me, YouTube is going to serve me the topic categories that I watch videos from. When the biggest mistake I see businesses make is they sell 10 things and they want to talk about all 10 things. But the problem is your audience isn't necessarily going to like breakdancing and skateboarding at the same time. So what happens is you basically explode your audience into a million fragments. And now every time you post to the wrong audience every time. One of my customers is Roger Wakefield. He's now the most famous plumber online. And he talks about all things plumbing. That's it. He can talk to the homeowner. He can talk to the apprentice. He can talk to the plumbing manufacturing companies. He can talk to plumbers. He can talk to anyone within plumbing, but he talks about all the things plumbing. And YouTube and Google and Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn all know his value and when to share his content. So if you're not staying consistent in a niche, this is how the majority of channels just die off and stop trying because they're not making any momentum because they keep on destroying their own audience every time they post something different.
Yeah, trying to be all things to all people never works, but I've seen your work in action. Roger will also be back at Social Media Week Lima 2026. So excited to have him and you there as well. But talk to me about how you reverse engineer, like knowing how a business can set up a appropriate YouTube strategy with like the keywords and how they can dive into knowing what their niche is and maybe what the keywords are that someone would use to search them up.
So the first thing I do personally is I am doing a new strategy for one of my clients, Grant Cardone, right now this week. And we actually change the entire strategy every year. And we align with the business and ask them what they want to become, not just who they are. So the first thing we do is we use AI and we go scavenge their websites, every video they've ever created on YouTube. And then we have like analysis of, okay, what are the top keywords? What's the top performing videos? What's the most engaged videos? But then also we add, what do they want to become? And in Grant's case, they want to basically help businesses grow through real estate, wealth, and business processes. So what we're going to do this year is we're going to say, okay, he's basically like the business grower guy in these three categories. And then what we're going to do is we're going to identify the top performing videos in the world for those three categories, like wealth building, real estate investing, and building your business. Now, you might think those are different, but you can always have like a bigger category of like grow your business or grow your wealth. So they can all fit together. You just have to do it in a manner that makes it work. And it's not three different channels. So the first thing I do as a YouTube strategist is I identify the top 300 to 500 most viewed videos in the world for the exact keywords and thing you do. And then we use AI to break down the top performing video title formulas, script formulas, hooks, description formulas, and thumbnail formulas so that we don't just know what works, we actually have it down to a science of the actual way it works, and we can even improve upon it. Sorry, that was pretty nerdy, but that's what we do.
Perfect, man. So you mentioned thumbnails. I do want to jump back to something you were talking about before. I want to have you unpack that. All right, so I'll give you an example. And you tell me kind of how you would handle something like this. So you talked about not being too broad and staying within your thing. I've often, in my own channel, there's a lot of topics that are not directly public relations, but they are very much related to public relations. So for example, if I talk about, pitching to the media or building your media list, that's a no-brainer. If I talk about imposter syndrome, it doesn't necessarily sound like PR, but it is because it affects how you show up. So would you handle a video like that differently than just say a title like how to overcome imposter syndrome? Or would you say something like
I would. Yeah, I would. I would make the bigger category, the like PR, the thing, and the subcategory, the secondary keyword phrase would be the sub part of the thing. So I would say something, and we can also talk about this in a million different ways. So we can talk about pop culture, for example. So we could say something like getting press and having imposter syndrome. We can talk about something like, does P. Diddy ever come back? Like the nightmare, the PR nightmare of P. Diddy, or something like that. Like, and that's a really valid point, even though it's silly, because I'm a big believer of using pop culture and newsworthy content to tie into the thing we're talking about. So in your case, I would always keep to press releases of some sort, shape, or form, but then I would interweave the nuance of the thing you're talking about. But the hero of every video I would do if I were you would be around getting press or press releases. So when I ran the largest skateboard channel in the world, there were 3 words I had to use in every title: either skateboard, skateboarding, or skating.
Okay.
I had to, because it's a skateboard channel, right? And the biggest way, even today, with all the AI and everything happening, the biggest way YouTube is going to identify what your video is about is through the title, then the description, the actual transcription of the video. But it is really important still to have like the main keyword of the person you want to become, the niche you want to be the king or queen of. It's really important to use those topic keywords.
Love that. So that explains it perfectly.
Yeah, that was awesome. I was going to say, should a company that has YouTube videos already uploaded, like, go back and maybe change some of those titles? Would it help, like, if they go back retroactive and tweak the titles, or is it just newer videos that are showing up?
So re-optimization works when you still have some sort of organic viability. So if you even get 2 or 3 or 4 views a day or a week on a video, I'm a big believer of re-optimizing the title and the thumbnail. Like 10 years ago, when you would re-optimize a video, it would actually just kill the organic viability of the video for like 6 months. I remember there was a video, I think it was for a Procter & Gamble company I was working with. I changed a title that had 13 million views, and it went from like 50,000 views a day to 0 for like 6 months. That doesn't do that anymore. Like, re-optimization works great. And what it does now is it considers the before and the after, and then it makes its own decision if it's going to push more. But the way the entire YouTube algorithm works is click, watch, and like. So people need a reason to click on your title and thumbnail and the little preview. So when you hover over on your phone or your desktop, you're going to see like, up to 10 or 15 seconds of a preview of the video. So that's the clickability side. You have to make a video clickable or you're not going to get the watch. And then watchability is the scripting, hooks, the video production, editing, pacing, and how long someone watches your video is the number one organic factor of if YouTube's going to push it out or not. And then likability, likes, comments, and shares. That's the entire algorithm. And if you can tie all of that, people clicking on your videos, watching them, and liking them into a specific thing that YouTube and the audience knows what you deliver every week or every month, you've just fixed 80% of the problems most businesses face on YouTube.
Okay. Love it. So let's talk about thumbnails for a minute. I know that it has a huge impact on click-through rates, but I know a lot of people get it wrong. I know when I first started my channel, I just left it all to whatever automated crap thumbnail YouTube picked up. I just recently started doing it. So what is your advice for someone when it comes to creating effective thumbnails?
Man, I have so much. I've had the fortune to actually travel the world teaching thumbnail science. It's been a cool career over the last 19 years. I'm really love what I do, but I'm going to try to keep it short because I know this isn't like a 17-hour long show. The first thing I would say is the hero should be the thing on the thumbnail. So for example, if you're talking about a 1967 Mustang, I don't want to see you. Even though emotions and eyes are the window to the soul, and subconsciously, expressions are a lot easier to connect to someone, the hero should be the thing. Now, if you're popular or you're like the host of a video, you could be the secondary part of that. But if it's talking about a person, you show the person every time. If it's talking about a place or a thing, you're only going to show the person if it's relevant or if they're part of the video or if they're famous and it makes sense to show them. So that's the first thing I would say is make the hero the 80% of the thumbnail. The second thing I would say is be creative, give a reason to click. Seth Godin says be the purple cow. You have to stand out. Most of the views that happen on the right-hand side rail in the suggested area. And there's just a million little thumbnails, little baby, stamp-sized thumbnails. And the question you have to ask yourself is, are you going to stand out above the rest of those little baby thumbnails? And what a lot of people get wrong is they think this is graphic design. This is not graphic design. This is winning the war of attention with popping colors 30, 40% more than your competitors, using things like primary colors to activate the brain in different ways, using psychology like not telling the whole visual story. So there's curiosity gaps and emotional and psychological reasons for people to want to click on it. Zooming in or circling a particular place, even though these are all cheesy, they work very well because what you don't want to do is you don't want to repeat what the title says on the thumbnail. A thumbnail is a stop sign. You want people to stop scrolling and read the title. When people duplicate what the title is about and the thumbnail, they're 50% less likely to get clicked because you have two reasons. You have to stop the scroll and then win the click with the title. And it is that double sword thing. For example, most favorite thumbnail of all time is a thumbnail that is a yellow box. The whole thumbnail is just a yellow box. And the title says, "This is not yellow." Vsauce, wow. 22 million views. So That's my favorite thumbnail of all time. As a recovering graphic designer, that was hard to get to, because graphic designers want to make things pretty and have purpose, but it's not about that. It's about the clickability of it. So as someone that studied this 19 years, my favorite thumbnail is yellow. I'm just saying it's deeper than just about design.
Now I want to go back and clean up all of our videos that we have on Now Marketing Group's channel. But also I have so many more questions for you. I want to know, like, YouTube Shorts versus YouTube videos. Like, do the shorts actually help increase your watchability on YouTube, like for your longer videos? Because you had mentioned before previously that it's like the more time that people are watching your video, that is what increases the algorithm. Like,
so there's a lot of misinformation about this. I created one channel that has like two or 300 million views on YouTube Shorts to kind of prove this point. And this is where people get in trouble with YouTube Shorts. If you go viral for something that is not about your niche, then you're going to get a really wide audience that has nothing to do with what you do, and it's not going to help your core business. So there's a lot of famous and big YouTube channels, 20, 30 million subscribers, that say YouTube Shorts are pointless. They don't help me at all. But here's how I look at it. If you match the intent of your audience with the niche from your YouTube Shorts and your longs, I think of it this way. You're casting a net in the ocean versus a barrel. So you're going to find a bigger audience with YouTube Shorts, and you're going to bring the people that are interested in your niche and you into your barrel. And then when they're in your barrel, they're going to be fans and they're going to buy your products. And so to me, last year, I probably helped about 7 channels get over 100,000 subscribers using YouTube Shorts first strategy and then going into longs. A lot of YouTube gurus like me, air quotes, say that YouTube Shorts are pointless and they don't help. And the reason they're pointless and they don't help from their experiences is because they're not fostering the right audience. They're not fostering a specific niche. And when you do that, you've basically already destroyed your channel before you even start, because I'll give you an example. One of my clients is the largest channel for lawn care weed control in the world. And him and his son put up a ping pong video that got 7 million views in one night. And I got so mad at him. He got like 24,000 subscribers that now expect ping pong content. So I made him delete that 7 million views, and I was really mad. And you know what happened for the next few months? His retention and his watch time and everything was completely jacked up, because now you have an audience of 25,000 people that are expecting one thing and you're giving them the other. And then they're like, why am I watching this weed control channel? So
is there something specific you need to do if you find yourself in that situation to fix it, other than just deleting the video?
Delete the video. But I will talk a little bit more, if I can, on Shorts. There's 3 things that actually matter on YouTube Shorts, and that is the first 2 seconds, the hook. Very, very critical. You have to keep people from swiping away. So having your niche in the title is going to help YouTube deliver it to the right audience. That's very critical. Then having a hook in the first 2 seconds, not 5 or 10, the first 2 seconds, that explains why should I be watching this video and what is it, what and why. If you've ever read the book Primal Branding, you'll understand like the what and why is very important. People need to feel. Mr. Beast does a really good job in the first 5 or 10 seconds of a video of explaining what the video is about and what to expect. So in the first 2 or 3 seconds, my favorite, I did a video yesterday on my Facebook page, and I was like, wait, did you see that? That was my hook. And then I showed, I explained what I saw. And Joe Rogan does this. He's like, did you see that video? And then he's like, pull it up, Jamie. And then he pulls it up and then he explains it. And it's, hooks don't have to be this monumental, crazy thing, but you do need to invoke engage the brain. You do need to get people interested. So the first 2 seconds is really going to help people. So for a YouTube short, you need to give people the right audience, hook them quickly, and then that swipe away rate. And then the average view duration needs to be a minimum under 30 seconds long of 100% or more. How you do that is you do things called closed loops, where people don't know where the video ends or begins. And when you have this closed loop philosophy, people will end up watching on average the video about 1.5 times before they realize they've watched it twice.
I talk about that all the time in NLP because it's the open loop, closed loop. Like people will watch until you close that loop. If you start it with a question or, give them some curiosity to close it out. This is so much good info. Like before we wrap up, because I'm sure the other Jeremy has many questions as well, but where can people learn more about how to be the king or queen of their niche?
Yeah, so I have 2 businesses. One is nicheking.video instead of .com, it's .video, nicheking.video. And then my other business is a AI software company for creators called Creator Unlock. And on creatorunlock.com, anyone with a channel can get a free audit, which is actually probably the most substantial and most in-depth YouTube audit available. And it's completely free.
Love that. So let's talk about some of the stupid mistakes that YouTube people make.
For small businesses and service companies, using YouTube like a library or a repository is a bad idea. Not listening to your audience or creating videos around some new product that you've made. It's not about that. Mm-hmm. What you need to do is flip your brain into saying, just like you should be doing on LinkedIn and Facebook and all the other platforms, how can we give value or entertainment to our customer base? How can we make their lives better? When you start thinking like that, you do better. Another thing is YouTube is not different than your business or your website or your business card. If you have a muddy message, no one's going to know your value or what you do. In my opinion, the website, the business card, the YouTube channel, Facebook page, everything should have the exact same message and mission, and it should be a one strategy, multiple channel approach.
Love that. 100% agree with you, especially now that we are talking about like AI. Maybe you could mention something about like AI and how now, like why people are going back to YouTube just to be entertained, especially as we're using AI now for like the how-to videos. And then I would love for everyone that wants the recap of this, because you definitely do, type it in the chat, because we will share the blog recap out right after this tomorrow morning. So you can just type me in the comments and we'll get the blog to you.
Awesome. So what was the question again? I'm sorry.
All right. How the difference is between now like AI content versus YouTube content.
So a lot of people are just getting their questions answered by AI and doing the work and say, give me 5 steps to fix this problem on YouTube, for example. So in my opinion, how-to content on YouTube is been dying a long time, but I have a strategy to keep it alive. So with Roger Wakefield, I told him to create one of his first videos, which is now his most popular video, which is how to fix a leaky toilet. In 2026, this is what I would make. Does your leaky toilet cost you $1,000 or more a year? ? So what we did there is we went from how to fix a leaky toilet 2026 to telling a story that has the keywords running toilet, leaky toilet, but also builds suspense and tells a story. And in 2026, you're a lot more likely to be like, oh man, I have a leaky toilet. I wonder if I'm losing $1,000 a year. So like that is the big shift I would do this year, is don't just do the same boring how-to videos everyone's ever done. Do them in a way where edutainment, where you're educating and entertaining and raising stakes and tension and just telling good stories. I think that storytelling is so underestimated in businesses and small businesses, that if people just learn to tell stories on Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube and their websites, that they're going to have way more engaged customers.
100%. Love that. So much wealth of information. We definitely need to have you back here. And
Anytime.
also, I'm excited to have you at Social Media Week Lima 2026, happening June 18th and 19th in Lima, Ohio. But for all of you that want the recap, definitely type me in the comments. We'll be back here next Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as well for more wealth of information. But Jeremy, you're going to be hard to top because this was really good.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank all of you for joining us today. Happy New Year, and look forward to seeing you next week.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.